It's a reason why God is setting you apart. There's a reason why God is telling you don't go with the group, because what the group may do may be such a life-changing decision that will cost you. Hello and welcome to my channel. So in today's video, I really wanted to speak about how to know if God has set you apart. And I really wanted to speak about this because I know sometimes people really kind of struggle with figuring out, God, are you calling me to be something else? Are you calling me to be something greater? And it's a little bit confusing, especially right now in today's society where everyone is really trying to operate more in like the worldly ways. So I'm going to talk about in this video, how has God set you apart, and if he has set you apart, and clear signs that God has a higher calling for your life. So the first thing I like to do is start out with a scripture that captures the message for today. And it comes from John 15:18 through 25. And it reads, "If you find the godless world is hating you, remember it got started hating me. If you lived on the world's terms, the world would love you as one of its own. But since I picked you to live on God's terms and no longer on the world's terms, the world is going to hate you. When that happens, remember this: servants don't get better treatment than their masters. If they beat on me, they will certainly beat on you. If they did what I told them, they will do what you tell them. They are going to do all these things to you because of the way they treated me, because they don't know the one who sent me. If I hadn't come and told them all this in plain language, it wouldn't be so bad. As it is, they have no excuse. Hate me, hate my Father, it's all the same. If I hadn't done what I have done among them, works none has ever been done, they wouldn't be to blame. But they saw the God signs and hated anyway, both me and my Father. Interesting, they have verified the truth of their own scriptures where it is written, they hated me for no good reason." So you see her like in this scripture about God literally saying, like, if they hate me, they will hate you. And it's really just God saying, like, this godless world completely is going to accept you if you are one of them, but if you show up as anything different, they will literally hate you and they will not welcome you at all. And so I think this is something that we really should dive into, because it's so hard, right, when we're living here on this earth, to not get so bogged down or always thinking about, oh my gosh, are people accepting me? Is the world going to hate me if I'm not like them? And we get so concerned about those things. Like, we get so concerned about it, and it's because at the end of the day, we are here on earth, and it's hard sometimes to put our flesh emotions to rest and just believe and trust in God that at the end of the day, if we're rocking with him, he's always going to rock with us regardless. Like, so I really think it's important to think about that, because it's a struggle sometimes, and I do understand it and I do get that. But what I really want to emphasize here is, guess what? God is saying, like, at the end of the day, they hate me, they're going to hate you, but I got your back. Like, I got your back. So if you're struggling and you're trying to figure out like where you fit, oh, should I keep going along with the world because I'm here on earth and the world is going to accept me? Just keep in the back of your mind about how the blessings and every single thing, if you are in constant communication with God and you are rocking with God and not with the world, trust me, you're living a much better life, and the people of the world will literally be able to see just how much of a blessing you have here in your life. And honestly, they're going to be questioning you, like, what do you have? Like, what is it about you that you get all these blessings, that you just always feel good? Like, you don't have this worry about being accepted. You don't have this worry about like how people perceive you. Like, you're just able to forgive and forget and kind of move on and just live graciously. And people of the world are really going to envy that about you, and they're really going to question what it is. And so that's when then you kind of tell them about the greatness of God. And John 15:26 through 27 really just kind of emphasizes goes into depth about that, about God saying like, hey, listen, you were with me from the beginning. So he's kind of telling us in that scripture, like, your purpose is to lead other people to me and to show people my greatness. And even those who want to deny it and people who want to pretend as though they don't know, you know, because you were here for me from the start and you were with me through it all. And so what God is saying in that is like, don't allow the people of the world to kind of make you feel guilty about walking along with God and everything, because I promise you, you are the one that will be completely and totally blessed because you're seeking God's face and you're not fronting on him and you're not trying to be like the world. You're okay with being set apart. And it does take time. Like, just know that it does take time. It's not something that you're just gonna just always get up and just perfect, right? Because it's so difficult. You're fighting your flesh with your spirit, right? So it's like something that it's going to be a constant battle, but I promise you the blessings that come from it are amazing. Now I kind of want to dive into like the signs that you'll see when God is trying to show you clearly that you are set apart. And honestly, like when God told me that I was set apart, at first I really did not want to believe it, and I was too confused about like, God, are you telling me that I'm set apart? Like what? Like it was kind of like confusing. I'm like, am I just a standout, or are you calling me to something greater? Like what's happening here? Like what's happening? And so the way that you'll know is literally like you'll never fit into the crowd. You'll always be a person who is like a leader and not a follower. Like you always just have your own mind and you're not easily swayed. And you know, even if there may be times where you kind of go along with the world just to kind of go along to get along, you're always kind of brought back to you know what's right, and you don't really fall too deep, right? Because God won't even allow you to do that, because at the end of the day, he's calling you for something greater. He's not going to put you in a position where you'll completely ruin your life and you're not able to get yourself out of it, because your purpose is to teach other people and help them to have the courage to stand out as believers. So a few ways that I saw that I was an outlier and that I really was called to a greater calling. Number one, I am not a drinker. Like in college, people would be drinking, they would be smoking. That's another thing. I'm not a smoker. I tried those things. It just was not for me. And I realized like, no, it's just not for me. And it's because God is literally trying to do something else in me. And I think that's big. Another thing, I'm not a cursor. Like I don't really have to have curse words coming out my mouth. Like it's just not natural for me. Like I'm just more of just like, I speak clearly. I don't really need to curse. I don't need to do all that. Another thing, I knew when to separate myself from certain people. Like it was very clear, like, oh, this person isn't really for me. And I can kind of tell that like, they're about to lead me down the wrong path. And I absolutely need to get away from them, because if I don't, I'm going to be in serious trouble and I may potentially ruin my calling, ruin my life, all those things. And so I don't want to be like these people. And that's another reason too that I knew I was set apart, is like I wasn't even interested in the same things that a lot of my peers were. Like I'm just like not a fan. Like, and I was okay with that. Like I was okay with being the different person. I was okay with being the outlier. And I want you to really understand it's okay to be like that. So I really just want to kind of leave you with some words of advice. The first thing is like being the person that does not want to go along with the group. That's perfectly fine. It's a reason why God is setting you apart. There's a reason why God is telling you don't go with the group, because what the group may do may be such a life-changing decision that will cost you. The other thing is, listen, like, it's okay to be great at identifying, and it's actually a blessing and it's a gift to be great at identifying when stuff is and it's not for you. And the other thing is, feeling uncomfortable when you're doing worldly things is a clear indication too that God is trying to set you apart. So finally, I just want to say, listen, do not fight against the calling that God has for your life. You can literally be called to save someone's life, and because your calling is that, you have to go along with whatever God is telling you to do. I promise you, there's a reason why God has you the way he has you. If you are the person that is okay with going against the group, Stay that way. Don't change your way. Do not change your way. I promise you, if I follow the things of the world, and even some of the people that I was once cool with and who were awful and terrible influences, I really don't know where I'd be today. And just understand that when God is setting you apart and he told you that you are set apart, you have a greater purpose here, and one that is indescribable. Like, your calling is different and you are called to be set apart. God told me that you have to be set apart to see the blessings and the levels that I'm about to take you to. Do not go against what God is getting ready to do in your life. So that's really all for me for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and hey, listen, leave a comment down below. Let me know if there's anything that God has been showing you lately that you are saying, you know what, maybe God is trying to set me apart. And anything that you may have experienced in your life and it was like, wow, if I had not listened to God when he was speaking to me at that moment, I literally could have been in such a bad situation that I may not have been able to get out of. And I know so many people, including myself, have experienced something like that. And I tell you right now, listen to the voice of God. He is leading you the right way, and he is trying to set you apart from the worldly things, and listen to him and allow everything to flow. Again, like I said, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll be back with some more content soon. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.